back to my Hypermotard. Hopefully you caught the first part. This is a two-part series. The first part were the things that I actually like about this bike. The second part, I'm going to talk about the things I'm not too happy about with this bike. So, I mean, starting with number one, you know, I'm 5'8", so I'm probably right about that height where it's probably just about okay for this bike. One of the things, for example, when I was sitting on it at the shop, it was okay. I mean, I didn't feel like it was too tall, but when I first took it riding in the street, you know, making some stops on red lights, I had to be really, really careful where I put my feet. I mean, my feet were kind of like this, like right at the tiptoes. So kind of got me a little worried, and I started looking into it. So I thought, you know what, this isn't the original seat, and I'll get to that in a minute. The original seat, you know, I took it to an upholstery guy, and he said, "Yeah, oh yeah, we could, no problem. We can shave off the foam on this thing because it, you know, it looked like it had a lot of foam." So as soon as he took the seat apart, he realized, you know what, I can't take more than maybe a quarter of an inch off the seat. He goes, if not, you're going to be sitting on the plastic, on the internal plastic of this seat, you know, the frame. And I'm like, are you serious? So now I came home and I'm thinking, shit, what am I going to do now? I'm going to have to get different boots, or what am I going to do? Because I was literally on my toes. I just didn't feel too comfortable making stops. So I started reading into other seats and things like that, and I found the lowered seat, which is this seat. And I'm so glad I got it. It lowers it. I don't remember exactly how much, but I think it's something like maybe a ½ inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch that it actually lowered. It doesn't seem like a lot, but trust me, it is, because now I can actually put the balls of my feet down on the ground. It's a lot more secure. It just made me feel a lot better. So, you know, is it a deal breaker on this bike? Not really. I mean, I wish it could be a little lower. I think it would be nice. It'd probably be a lot more marketable for a lot of shorter people. I think if you're 5'7", you're still okay. 5'7" and below that, I mean, unless you guys are wearing stiletto heels out there, I don't know how you're gonna manage to ride this bike. But anyway, that's number one. So number two is the how they managed to do this, the manual on this bike. Now I understand, like, you know, is it really difficult to do a whole manual? Maybe upgrade some of the things on the manual from the, I mean, this manual is pretty much the same as the 939, for the exception of maybe they've added on a couple details of, you know, some of the new things. But when I say details, they don't really add enough of those details as far as, like, let me show you an example of this. So when I first got this bike, you know, obviously I had read online and all this stuff about all the different riding modes. So if you go into settings, where you would think normally, where it says riding modes, and then you select urban, well, this is not exactly, you know, I was going back and forth. You cannot select from this screen, which is kind of strange. So let me get out of this and I'll show you where it actually is, which doesn't make any sense. So I was looking at it, my daughter and I were looking at it, and finally we did find it under TOT, which, why it would be there, I don't know. But this is where you would go, right here, to change the riding modes. So you go in here, and this is where you change the riding modes. So you can go touring, you can go urban, whatever it is you wanna, you know, sport. So that's where you actually change it. But nowhere in the manual does it say anything about it. And it's really kind of upsetting. I mean, I was looking for, I don't know how long. My daughter was the one that found it online, not on the manual. So, you know, that's one of the things. I mean, it should be something that Ducati, it should be something that Ducati should really, I mean, how hard it is to put that in the manual. It was nowhere in the manual. I was looking online for I don't know how long, and she was the one that actually found it. You know, someone that had written in a forum how you actually change it, and someone answered that question. They didn't even know. So that's kind of like, I don't know, it kind of bothered me a little bit. Is it a deal breaker? No, it still isn't. Change the spark plug. If I was going to change, you know, the air filter, I can go in there and in a matter of 10 minutes it can be done. On this thing, you got to take the entire top of the bike off, from the tank all the way down, just multiple pieces that you have to take off in order to change a spark plug or even get to the air filter. I don't know, it'd be nice to like leave it to us to kind of do little things like that. And you know, if you're mechanically inclined, it's not a big deal, but you know, you need special tools. If these things were in a location where we can access them easily, take them out, replace them, especially something like an air filter, which really should be pretty easy to replace. But again, having to take, you know, half this bike apart to just get to an air filter, I think is a little extreme. So yeah, that kind of bothers me. Is it a deal breaker? Not yet. Nope. Okay, so number 4. Now the next two kind of do bother me. I understand Ducati wants to actually have us take our bikes to get oil changes, and they want the control to be able to reset the red light that goes on. We paid so much money for these bikes, why wouldn't they just give us the control to be able to reset a simple little light? And then not only that, I change my oil, the light's on, and I take it to Ducati. They want to charge me anywhere from $30 to $50 to reset a light. I mean, come on, Ducati, really? So it would be nice if we had the control of just turning that light off. I mean, you know, like I said, we paid a lot of money for these bikes. It would be just, you know, why not just give us the control to be able to do that? So yeah, that does bother me. You know, I don't understand why Ducati would do something like that. So going on to number 5 is the other thing that really kind of bothers me, and I don't understand why they wouldn't have done this. You know, they made a great TFT screen display. They've got a lot of features on there, but they didn't add a gas gauge. Now I understand, you know, when I first got the bike, that bothered me a lot, and then you kind of get used to, you know, you just reset your trip meter. And I know that once I hit about 100 miles, 110 miles or so, it's pretty much I better start looking for gas. Plus you got the little yellow light that goes on, and the light, you know, once the light goes on, you have roughly 15, 20 miles to go, I guess depending on what mode and type of riding you're doing. But yeah, and it's worked throughout all this time. There was one time where that backfired. So I was riding with some friends, and we had ridden probably about, I'd say 90 miles, roughly something like that. And then we go to a gas station, fill up, because we were going to keep going. And while I'm filling up my tank, one of my buddies comes up to me and he starts talking to me about where we're going, you know, things like that. So here I am filling up my gas tank. We take off for the ride. Next thing I know, you know, we see a sign that says next gas station 40 miles. So I look down and I'm thinking, oh shit, I got 200 and something miles on my trip meter. So what did that mean? Because of the conversation and stuff, I never reset it. So that's when I was like, oh shit. So I'm thinking, okay, now, so I had to go up, catch these guys, stop them, explain what happened. We had to turn around, go back 5 miles so that I can fill up with gas to then go forward. And that's the kind of thing, why wouldn't Ducati just add a gas gauge in there? I mean, other bikes that have this display actually have a gas gauge. And I don't understand why they wouldn't do it. Hopefully for the next model, it does happen. But, you know, it's just something that kind of really bothers me. You know, like I said, you spend all this money and then, you know, little things like that happen. But again, it's not a deal breaker. Would I buy this bike all over again? Absolutely would. One of the things, you know, if you're really thinking about getting this bike, I mean, don't hold back. The only issue that I would have if I was like 5'6", something like that in stature, and that's kind of like, I would be scared to ride this thing. Like I said, unless you have some serious heels. But you know, I've seen videos, little people riding big bikes like this, and they almost like have to hop off the bike at a red light. That's your deal, man. I guess, you know, go for it. But yeah, those are the things, man. I hope you guys, if you're really thinking about buying this bike, consider those things. They're really not deal breakers. Like I said, when I buy it, I'd buy it 110% all over again. I absolutely love the bike. Those are little things. Hopefully you guys let me know. I know I've read a lot on forums, and I belong to a lot of forums, you know, little things that bother people. And I know the light, you know, the oil light, the gas gauge, the height, the things that I've talked about are pretty similar to the things, most of the complaints that people have on this bike, which again, they're not deal breakers, but I want to hear from you guys if you have any other complaints, not really complaints, but things that kind of bother you. Let me know. I'm kind of curious, and let me know if am I making a big deal about these things? Like I said, they're not deal breakers, but you know, there's never anything you buy in life that's you're going to be 100% satisfied with. So hopefully for the next generation, you know, those are simple things that they can actually fix or upgrade. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, comment down below because I want to really know. Give me a thumbs up. Stay tuned for the next video coming up, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys next time.